All right. All right, everyone. We're officially live on YouTube. This is the Trailblazer Razor. And welcome back to another episode of the Off Road Campground Podcast, the show that helps you as a rider or driver survive and thrive the campgrounds and conquer the trails. So, in this episode, we want to discuss some of the best trails I have researched or experienced within my first year of driving my Polaris Razor XP 1000 Ultimate. I got it in late September 2025. I actually picked it up in early to mid October 2025. So this fall would be 1 year of trail riding and owning the Polaris Razor XP 1000 Ultimate. Right now it's a little out of gas. Right now got 16 or 17 percent. I don't know if that's still good or not. We're about to hit 800 miles on the Polaris Razor XP 1000 Ultimate, and in that year, I have experienced some of the best trails here on the East Coast. See, we're mainly going to talk about the East Coast. I haven't experienced the West Coast or up north. I don't think I've ever been outside of South Carolina for a trail ride. Trail riding. I've never been out of South Carolina. So the first one is definitely the first one I ever went to, and that is Riverneck Acres. Riverneck Acres is in Florence, South Carolina. It's between Johnsonville and Florence, South Carolina. So it's actually in Florence, but it's a little outside Florence, to put into a better word. So with Riverneck, of course, you have to get a wristband, and they have a ton of trail. Like, I'll look up River Neck Acres. Yeah, it's a outdoor. Yeah, it's a ATV park in Florence County, South Carolina. So it's in Florence County, but it's outside of the city, I would say. Out, in the backwoods. And it's got 60 miles of trails, which is amazing. So according to their Google, Riverneck in Florence, it's an off-road park with over 60 miles of trails for ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, catering to all skill levels, with features like mud bogs, dirt bike tracks, and scenic forest paths. It offers camping, RTV, tent, and cabins. We've already talked about that in the previous episode about um, cabins versus RTV and a bathhouse, host events, providing a destination for outdoor enthusiasts to ride day and night. So there's over 60 miles of trails at Riverneck Acres in Florence County, South Carolina, where I live. I live here in Horry County, South Carolina, which is in Conway, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. But I mainly live in Conway, so I'm literally down the road from Riverneck Acres. It doesn't take me long at all. So according to my phone here, let's go to um, directions. I'm gonna continue. It always looks up Google Maps. I guess I can use Google Maps because I do have a Google account. Might as well use that as a secondary. Best of Google bundle. Gemini, Google Chrome, Maps. Or we can go ahead and quit Google Maps and delete it and come over here to my Apple Maps. I love Apple Maps. Riverneck Acres. Good directions. So I'm basically an hour away from Riverneck. I'm 52 minutes away, 40 miles to get to Riverneck. What me and my dad usually do on our way to Riverneck, because we've been 2 or 3 times already at Riverneck, which we might have to do during the summer because my dad is working and he's always busy, and I don't think we'll be able to go to another one that we're getting ready to talk about for a good while. So it's basically an off-road park pretty much. It's definitely an amazing place to go for someone like me for a day ride, just to go out for the day and head home. I mean, it's fun, definitely fun, and there's a picnic. There's actually some picnic tables where you can actually stop your machine and have a picnic, which is amazing. So that's Riverneck in a nutshell. It's basic. It's definitely small. There's over 60 miles of trails. It's always a fun little trail ride going to Riverneck. And another one that I've been to recently is Carolina Adventure World. One of the best trails here in South Carolina. If you want to go traditional trail riding, you can go to Carolina Adventure World in Winnsboro, South Carolina. So Carolina Adventure World probably has over, I think, 1,000 miles of trails. I'm not sure. Carolina Adventure World. I've been there 2 times, I think. Yeah, 2 times. We stayed in the same cabin, which is called Turtle Pond. It's one of the biggest cabins at Carolina Adventure World. The rest are just, we talked about those. So yeah, we always stay in Turtle Pond, which has a bedroom, a living area, a bathroom, 2 bunk beds. And according to their Google, we can actually go to the website. And since it's Easter, today they're doing the kids' Easter egg hunt, as well as a night ride, an April night ride. So we'll go to about. There's 2,600 acres of ATV, UTV, and dirt bike trails, camping, side by side rentals, a restaurant, group parties, and events. Here you go, events calendar. That's what we were looking for, the events calendar. But right now, coming up is the Carolina Adventure World Kids Easter Egg Hunt. With it being Easter. They also have a night ride, Enjoy a Night Under the Stars, April the 4th. Back to back night rides, 48 hours of Carolina Adventure World Spring Edition. That's pretty much April 17th through the 19th. That's probably coming up in the next week or so. Is the back to back night rides of Carolina Adventure World Spring Edition. 2026 night ride, A Night Under the Stars. And they also have in May a rally, some type of rally. And of course, on the 23rd, they have a Memorial Day weekend stars hunt. They got night ride. They got another night ride in June on the 6th. And then June 19th to the 21st, they have a Following Thanks Customer Appreciation Weekend. And I guess for 4th of July, for 4th of July weekend is a back-to-back night ride, 48 hours of Carolina Adventure World. July 25th, another night ride. August 15th through the 16th, a Summer Splash Family Weekend. An August night ride, August 29th. September 19th is September night ride. October 2nd through the 4th, a Halloween edition of 48 Hours of Carolina Adventure World. It's called the Carolina Adventure World, Carolina Adventure World Cowtoberfest. It's kind of like their Oktoberfest type of night back-to-back night rides at Carolina Adventure World, as well as another October night ride on the 24th. On Halloween, they have their 5th annual Duck and Hunt Halloween Bash. And then for Thanksgiving, they have the Turkey Trail Weekend and Night Ride. And on November 28th, they have their November Night Ride. And of course, the December Lights Night Ride on the 26th of December. That's the day after Christmas. And they also have the New Year's Eve Bash. And so let's kind of go over everything they had so far for different events, which is why a lot of people go to Carolina Adventure World, mainly for the events, but sometimes it's always good to go for a day or so and go ride around. Let me fix my computer here so I get kind of comfortable. So in January, they had their January night ride on the 3rd. They had 48 Hours of Carolina Adventure World Winter Edition from the 16th to the 18th of January. February, they had their night ride on February 7th. And on Valentine's Day, they had their Valentine's Day weekend getaway. And then in March, which was last month, they had their March night ride on March 7th. And on St. Patrick's Day, March 14th, they had their St. Patrick's Day luck hunt. And we already went through April through December, so they got a really good, busy time ahead of them. I'm going to look up Riverneck Acres, go to their website, see if there's any events happening for Riverneck. Oh, they're having their summer kickoff says dates open May 11th to the 17th in the concert and events. So they do have like concerts and stuff. We'll tap on the little menu events for 2025 2026. So for so far in January, from the 4th through the 14th, they were closed for winter groundskeeping. From the 15th to the 19th, they had MLK and customer appreciation. February 12th through the 16th, that was Valentine's Night Ride, which was a President's Day 4-day weekend, but also could be Valentine's Day as well, because the 14th was Valentine's Day. And of course, they had their um, Spring Fling concert, which was Moccasin Creek. I'm not sure. And then this coming up April 2nd, which was so from the 2nd to the 6th. So got like 2 more days left. Is the Easter weekend, Egg Hunt and Night Ride. And then the Low Country Hare and Scramble is the 17th and the 19th. And then, of course, Mother's Day is May 10th. So if I wanted to, I could bring my mom and she runs for free at Carolina Adventure World or at Riverneck. Riverneck. Summer kickoff, music, racing, and more. So yeah, May 11th through the 17th is the summer kickoff, music, racing, and more. It's gonna be packed on a lot of these events. So that's May 11th through the 17th. And on the 21st or the 25th, they have a Memorial Day 4-day weekend. Even Carolina Adventure World is doing their Memorial Day weekend, so it's going to be packed at some of these parks. So that's Memorial Day. In June, they have a Father's Day poker run. Night ride, Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Bring Dad Sunday, and he rides free. And then on July 2nd through the 5th, they have the 4th of July weekend. Night ride, Saturday at 9:30 for 4th of July. And then after the 4th, July 20th through the 30th, they're closed for summer groundskeeping to keep it nice and neat and welcoming and I guess presentable, I guess. And then October 1st to the 4th is free weekend charity event. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, only Friday and Saturday, minimum $1 donation to charity required per day. Night ride is at 9:30 p.m. And then on the 22nd through the 25th, they have a mud bash, a Halloween mud bash, trick or treat, costume contest, $2,500 pumpkin hunt, night ride, which is Saturday, 9:30 p.m. And then in November, they have the annual Fall Bash concert, racing, and more. And then it's open for Thanksgiving, the 25th to the 29th. Dinner is on the 26th at 4 p.m. um, closed for Christmas, so they don't do a Christmas night ride. From the 21st to the 30th, they're closed. New Year's at the Neck, night ride Saturday, December 31st to January 3rd. So those are some of the events that are coming up and have passed since January at River Neck. Another one I would love to try out. It's in Georgia. It's called Durham Town, and from what I've seen, it looks really good. So, Durham Town ATV Park in Georgia. That's where I would love to go one day. Union Point, Georgia. So that means since I live here in Conway, I pretty much have to stay the night. They have a gift shop. They have different cabins, and the trails look amazing. It's all red dirt, so that means it's gonna stick to your machine like glue. It's that strong. Because I know because there's red clay at Carolina Adventure World, and a lot of it just can't come off. We'll have to figure something out with my particular machine on how to get that off so it really sticks like glue. So yeah, Durham Town off road and helmets are required. So it was a good thing I have my Polaris helmet in my little compartment in the back of my Razor. So it's a good thing I have my helmet. My dad has his helmet. We're ready to go for Georgia and maybe West Virginia because they do have the most iconic trail called the Hatfield McCoy Trails, which we'll get into in just a little bit. We'll go to the website. Over 5,000 acres of tracks and trails. That is so cool. Georgia Off Road Rentals, Durhamtown Cabins, Durhamtown RV Parks, Durhamtown Pro Shop, Racing, and Groups. I don't see anything. I don't think they have any events coming up. I don't think they have any events. Go to Ride. Yeah, there's over 5,000 acres of different trails and tracks and all that stuff. So it's gonna be really cool to go to Georgia one day and go for a ride at Durham Town. Another one I want to go to is the Hatfield McCoy Trails. Hatfield and McCoy Trails, West West Virginia. There we go. So that's Durham Town in a nutshell. It's basic, nothing big happening. I don't think anything big happens at Durham Town as far as events. I don't see an events tab on their website. Hatfield McCoy Trails, Logan County, West Virginia. We'll go to website. We'll go to the website. Wow. We'll go to the different. Okay, we're already on the trails. There's Barwello, Big Hole, Braveheart, Buffalo Mountain. I think that's Cabway, Lingo, State Forest, Devil Aints, Indian Ridge, Ivy Branch, Pinnacle Creek, Pocahontas, Rock House, Tornado, Single Tracks, and Warrior. Those are the different trail systems in the Halfville and McCoy trails. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different trails up in the Halfville McCoy trails between Virginia and West Virginia. So it's huge. You could probably spend almost a lifetime to let's actually ask ChatGPT of how long it'll take to explore all the Halfville McCoy trails. It'll probably take days, maybe weeks. How long will it take to explore all 13 trails of the Halfville McCoy trails between Virginia and West Virginia? Short answer, you're not doing all 13 Halfville McCoy trail systems in a single weekend. It's a multi day or multi trip adventure. There's a realistic breakdown how big the system actually is. The Halfville McCoy system has 13 trail systems with 1,200 plus miles of trails. That's a lot of trails. Especially if you just want to go to Virginia and my brother and my sister in law can meet us, down there from Pittsburgh. We can make it a good trip to go to the Halfville McCoy trails up in Beckley. It's one of the largest off road networks in the U.S. It's spread across multiple counties in southern West Virginia. That's a lot. How long it takes realistically, if you sample each system, one trail system per day, most common pace 10 to 13 days total is what most riders do. Ride highlights, not every mile. If you want a solid experience on each system, 1 to 2 days per system, 2 to 3 weeks total. So you can spend weeks there, days, even weeks. This gives you time for different difficulty trails, scenic routes, exploring ATV friendly towns. If you want to ride most of the mileage, 1,200 plus miles, typical riding pace with stops, terrain, etc., 50 to 100 miles per day. That's 12 to 24 full riding days. That's assuming no major breakdowns, good weather, and long riding days, 6 to 8 hours plus. We pretty much stay out all day, especially when we go to Carolina Adventure World. We stay out all day. And we come back, take a shower, have dinner, and call it a night. Important reality check: even experienced riders will tell you you won't truly complete every trail in one trip. Terrain is steep, technical, and time consuming. Travel time between trail systems adds up. Best strategy: what most riders do instead of trying to do all 13 at once. Trip 1, Southern Systems, Pocahontas, Indian Ridge, and Pinnacle Trail. Trip 2, Central Systems, Rock House, Devil Aints, Buffalo Mountain. And then Trip 3, Newer, Outer System, Warrior, and Cowboy Lingo, etc. Most people take multiple trips over years to hit them all. Quick tour, 10 to 13 days, 2 to 3 weeks straight experience, and full deep exploration is 3+ weeks or multiple trips. So that's for the Half of McCoy trails. Let's see. My dad wants to take me to Beckley, West Virginia specifically. That's an awesome choice. Beckley is one of the best home bases for riding the Half and McCoy system. So, if I go to Beckley, West Virginia, which is right there, not that far from Pittsburgh, where my brother and sister in law live, the trails closest to Beckley, you won't be riding all 13 systems from one spot, but Beckley puts you near some of the top tier trail systems. Pinnacle Creek trail system, closest and most popular. That looks so cool. 20 to 30 minutes from Beckley, 100 miles of trails, mix up beginner and advanced. It's known for scenic overlooks, coal mining terrain, and long flowing rides. Time needed 1 day, highlights 2 days, full experience. So you can spend a couple of days there. And then we can do the Indian Ridge Trail System, 30 to 40 minutes from Beckley, 140 miles, one of the largest systems connected to Pinnacle Creek. You can ride between them. Time needed 1 to 2 days for the Indian style blue. I don't know what's in blue. And then Pocahontas Trail System, 40 to 60 minutes away, 100 miles, more wooded, less crowded. Time needed 1 day. So how long for a Beckley based trip? I Ideal trip length is 3 to 4 days total riding to capture all the ones near Beckley. Example plan on day 1 is Pinnacle Creek, day 2 is Indian Ridge, and day 3 is Rider Connector Trails, plus explore both, and day 4 is optional. Pocahontas. Reality check important from Beckley, you'll realistically cover 2 to 3 trail systems, not all 13. These are spread across southern West Virginia. But honestly, these 3 systems alone are some of the best in the entire network. Pro tips for your trip. Stay somewhere ATV friendly, mini cabins let you ride from the door. Bring a half-old McCoy trail permit. Plan for fuel stops, food in trail towns. They're part of the experience. Bottom line, if your dad's taking you to Beckley, you're at a prime location. You can have an epic 3 to 4 day riding trip. You'll hit some of the most iconic trails in the system, which is good because my brother and sister-in-law live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They can meet us halfway. It's a 4 to 4.5 hour drive. It actually works out perfectly. You've got a really convenient setup. Distance and drive. Pittsburgh to Beckley, 4 and a half hours. Drive mostly straight down I-79, I-64. That's close enough for a long weekend trip. Meeting halfway or convoying down together. Why it's ideal, your brother and sister-in-law can easily join for a weekend. Beckley is far enough south to hit great trails, but not a brutal drive from Pittsburgh. You can stay in Beckley or stay closer to the trailheads like Pinville or Mullins. We usually like to stay in Beckley. Easy trip ideas. Long weekend most popular. Thursday night, Friday morning drive down. Friday to Saturday ride. Sunday evening head back for hitting Pinnacle Creek and Indian Ridge. Option 2, family meetup trip. I meet in Beckley, ride during the day, hang out, grill, relax at night. Makes it more than just riding. It becomes a family trip plus adventure. Bonus ideas. Nah. Bottom line, having family in Pittsburgh makes this super doable. Easy to repeat trips. Perfect for building a tradition. Annual ride trips. Well, trail systems in Tennessee. That's another one I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's different trails in Tennessee. I'm not really sure what the name of it is. It's probably it's Windrock. That's another trail system. My dad wants to take me one of these days. Is Windrock Park in Tennessee, in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. So that's be kind of fun. The largest privately owned off-road park in the country. Windrock Park offers off-road and mountain biking trails throughout 73,000 acres of breathtaking scenery. The park has a full-service campground, general store, and various events throughout the year, which we'll actually look at those events that happen during the year. The park is located in Oliver Springs, Tennessee, just 20 minutes northwest of Knoxville, with convenient access to both I 75 and I 40. I think that's really, really cool. We'll review the full schedule. We'll go to events. Cool things happen here. A women's wheeling weekend, March 28th through the 29th, 2026, which that already happened. April 5th, or April 2nd to the 5th, is a double 14-hour Otera Trophy Rally. Hudson Valley four-wheeler event, April 8th through the 9th, 2026. Lady Jeepers Extravaganza, April 9th through the 12th. We'll go to the event schedule. So in January, they had the Venture Unknown Winter Wonderland. In March, they had from March 6th to the 7th, Northern Rock Racing Series Hill Climb. March 19th to the 22nd, Shamrock Shakedown. I guess that's for St. Patrick's Day. Red Bull, Tennessee National, March 19th to the 22nd as well. WBP Red Bull Tennessee National. And then the 26th to the 29th was the Women's Wheeling Weekend. April, which is this month, and here it is, April the 4th. April 2nd to the 5th is the Terra Trophy Double. It's a 14-hour, I guess, event. And then I guess the next week after is the Hudson Valley Four Wheelers event. And then right after that is the Lady Jeepers Extravaganza, the WBP Downhill SC Race, the 10th through the 12th. April 10th through the 11th, I guess it's some type of safari. A Bleeper Heap Safari. Bleeping Jeeps. 33, I guess, inch Bleeper Heap Safari. The Yamaha XTR Challenge is April 16th to the 18th. And then they have Jeep Jamboree from April 30th to May 2nd. And then we go up to May. May 8th through the 9th is the KRX Invasion. May 15th to the 17th, we have Outlaw Off-Road Crawling the South with Rock Crawler Suspension. June the 11th to the 13th is the Great Smoky Mountain Trail Ride. That sounds like fun. July 17th to the 19th is East Coast Crawlers. July 25th is Crazy Like Off-Road Hot Summer Nights. So I guess I don't have anything, after, like, before or on for July 4th. August, they have their Willing with Warren. I don't even know what that is. September, they have an Appalachian Toyota Roundup. September 3rd to the 7th, Outlaw Off-Road Trail Days is September 11th to the 13th. The 11th annual 770 Series Meet and Greet ALS Charity Ride is the 17th to the 19th of September. The 17th to the 19th is the Monkey Ball Crawl Fan Ride for Bleeping Jeeps. That's basically what it's called. And then October, I don't think they have anything for Halloween in RRS Battle of the Bouncers. So I guess if you want family-friendly events like Halloween and Christmas and Easter and St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day, then yeah, you need to check out Riverneck Acres and Carolina Adventure World. October 15th to the 17th, Windrock Park Fall Jam. So they do have a fall jam on the 15th through the 17th of October. Cruisers on the Rocks, 100 to 200 LCs in October on the 21st to the 25th. And then their last event of the year is the Rockstar Performance Great American Crawl, November 20th through the 22nd. So that's just those are all the events that are happening at Windrock in Tennessee. But another one that's really good if you're up west is to go to the Black Hills of South Dakota. They have a whole bunch of trails there all through the Black Hills. There's thousands and thousands of miles of trails up in the Black Hills of South Dakota. So if you're up west, make sure you go to South Dakota. We're going to remove all these recent conversations I had with ChatGPT. Go to chat. How many miles of trails are in the Black Hills of South Dakota? The answer depends on what type of trails you're talking about, because the Black Hills has multiple trail systems, hiking, motorized, etc. Side-by-side trails. If you're specifically asking about side-by-side UTV trails in the Black Hills National Forest, here's the clear breakdown. The Black Hills UTV trail system, the total mileage is 700 plus miles of designated motorized trails open to UTVs and side-by-sides, plus 3,000 plus miles of connected Forest Service roads you can legally ride on. That combination is what makes the Black Hills one of the largest rideable UTV networks in the U.S. Here's how it's set up. Trails are part of the Black Hills motorized trail system. Trails are numbered and mapped, rated difficulty easy to most difficult, connected through the trailheads and road links. Popular UTV areas is Northern Hills near Spearfish and Deadwood. That's pretty much where I would go because I've been to Spearfish a lot since 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017 is when we first went to South Dakota, but we mostly went to Keystone, South Dakota as well. Like the first time we went to South Dakota, we went to Keystone and we went to Mount Rushmore. And we started going to South Dakota ever since. This last year we went, or yeah, the last year we probably ever went is probably this year or last year when my brother moved out. And because of that, it'll be hard to explore some of the trail systems in South Dakota. There's the Northern Hills, Spearfish, and Deadwood. Dense trail network, scenic canyon views, and mix of beginner to advanced trail systems up in the Black Hills. Hill City and Pactola Lake. Mix of trails and forest roads close to major attractions, ideal for long scenic rides. Southern Hills. There's more open terrain, longer, less crowded routes, and some rocky / challenging sections near Custer and Pringle. What counts as UTV trails? Designed motorized trails, the 700 plus miles, Forest Service roads, huge bonus mileage. Okay, the hiking trails are not allowed, and dirt bike only. Some narrow single track. Quick ride facts. Permit required. Width limits apply to some trails. And best riding seasons May through October. I don't know why that is. For a side by side, you're getting 700 plus miles of true trails, but realistically, thousands of miles of rideable terrain where can include legal forest roads. I mean, that's just an added bonus. If you want to go and explore some trails out west, make sure you go to South Dakota. Make sure you go to the Black Hills. You don't want to miss out on it. So, for those of you who are watching, make sure you put down in the comment section or in the live chat what trail systems do you guys like riding? Because for me personally, I've only checked out 2 trails in my life, and that's Riverneck Acres and Carolina Adventure World, both in South Carolina, which is where I live, and they're actually more of a short drive, like an hour or 2 away. But I definitely want to check out some of the other trails I've been mentioning in this show. Yeah, that's what I definitely want to explore. I definitely want to check out Windrock in Tennessee. I want to check out Durhamtown in Georgia, and check out the Havre-McCoy trails up in West Virginia. There's a lot of trail systems I have yet. Yeah, there's some trail systems I have yet to explore yet, and I've had my side by side for at least a year, almost a year, come the fall. But I think my dad will take me when things start to get slow and we have more time to go riding, we can go check out some of these trail systems and really go riding. Most times we can do that. The most times a year we can do that is Christmas and Thanksgiving. Well, during the winter, because where my dad works is a seasonal. It's open seasonally. Spring, summer, and early fall. But mid to late fall, things start to get slow. Me and my dad have more time to go riding around and explore these different trail systems, which is why we've been mainly staying here in South Carolina because it's a short drive. Especially with Carolina Adventure World, it's like an hour or two away. And then um, less than an hour is Riverneck. It's literally down the road. That's a day ride in its own for someone like me who lives here in Conway. I'm definitely down the road from Riverneck, and Riverneck is where we've been hanging out mostly because it's close by. Carolina Adventure World is more every so often, going every so often. And every time I go on TikTok, Carolina Adventure World themselves put a like on my videos, which is mind blown. I guess they wanted to see how each of us, I guess, liked Carolina Adventure World. Well, it's kind of cool. They have a TikTok account so they can check out some of the videos I made at Carolina Adventure World. But it makes me happy that a lot of my videos are being watched by the owners themselves, especially Carolina Adventure World. I don't see Riverneck put a like on any of my videos that were taken at Riverneck. But we'll see how the Half of McCoy trails are, or Durhamtown in Georgia, Wind Rock in Tennessee, the Half of McCoy trails up in West Virginia. We'll see how they are. I definitely want to stay on the East Coast because it's in driving distance. That's why we picked these trails specifically, because they're on the East Coast. They're easy to get to. That's another thing when you're picking out different trails. Make sure you go within driving distance, because towing a side by side long distance it's insane. I don't know how most people do it. I don't know how some people take that long of a drive. That's not on their coast. Within driving distance, a good driving distance, especially for someone like us who have an open 16-foot trailer to put the side by side on and strap it down. I don't know how, because if I ever wanted to go to South Dakota again and go riding the trails, we'd probably have to rent a side by side instead of having to take my own personal machine, tow it 27 hours, 3 days there, 3 days back. I mean, that's a lot of gas. Yeah, that's a lot of gas, and there's no gas station for miles. And towing that heavy side by side, it could suck up a lot of gas. That's why we stay within our coast, the East Coast. So that's why I always stay on the East Coast when it comes to trails, because they're in short driving distance. They're easy to get to. You don't have to tow the side by side that long. But driving across country, that is insane. I would never imagine taking the side by side cross country to South Dakota just so I can explore the trail systems up there in near Spearfish, Deadwood, Rapid City. And that's actually one of the first dealerships I remember looking at was in Rapid City. It was Rice's Power Sports in Rapid City. And then right before my cousin Briella was born, because I remember it was it was Valentine's Day. My dad and me and my dad, we looked at two different dealerships. We looked at Redline Power Sports and Big Toy Superstore, which we actually talked about in one of the first ever episodes of the off road campground. I think that's what we talked about, I'm not sure. So let me check something here. I speaking of Carolina Adventure World, the best way for me to get home is through Kershaw County. A lot of back roads. It takes us not even that long to get home instead of having to go to the interstate, which isn't kind of okay, especially get through. Okay, so I'm trying to think of any other trails that are in driving distance, so I'll have to look at my map. So yeah, between Virginia and West Virginia, that's the Half of McCoy trails. Near Knoxville here, that's where Windrock is, right there outside of Knoxville. And then in Georgia, that's when we look at Union Point. I don't know where that would be. It's somewhere around here in Georgia. That is where Germantown is. It's hard to tell. Union Point. Durhamtown, Union Point, Georgia. Durhamtown, there we go. And we zoom out. So it's between North Carolina. So it's a little outside of South Carolina, but a little outside. It's right there in the middle of the state, looks like. But another one we were looking at is Windrock. There we go. Campground. And that is a little outside of Oak Ridge. Listen to the Oak Ridge boys. Oh, yeah. So it's a little outside of Knoxville and near Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So I guess there's no Oak Ridge boys. Can't go wrong with the Oak Ridge boys. I will add that to the playlist, my traveling playlist, to get to those trail system is listen to the Oak Ridge boys. Can't go wrong with the Oak Ridge boys. So Windrock. We already looked at the Half McCoy trails. It's between Virginia and West Virginia. So hold on a little bit. Gotta fix this up. Here we go. So all these trails, yeah, I had to take care of something real quick on Facebook. So, you know, I if I had to pick my favorites, I guess it would definitely be the ones that we were looking at here on the East Coast. That is Riverneck Acres, which I've been to loads of times before because it's close by. Carolina Adventure World, we've been twice, but we rode the trails multiple times in those two trips to Carolina Adventure World. Durhamtown in Union Point, Georgia. Windrock in Tennessee, out little Oak Ridge, and probably near. I don't know how far it is from Gatlinburg. And the Hatfield McCoy trails. Those are my top five. Hatfield McCoy trails up in West Virginia, Durhamtown in Union Point, Georgia, Tennessee, Windrock, Carolina Adventure World, and Riverneck. Those are my top five. I definitely want to stay on the East Coast when it comes to trail riding. That's another thing is that when we go trail riding or when you go trail riding, always stay within a safe driving distance because towing a side by side is very difficult unless you know what you're doing and you have a vehicle that could tow the the side by side. So here's what we have right here. This is a 2024 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss, and um, we definitely got to try our trailer hitch and test fit. You know what? I'm actually going to go to screen recording. Here we go. We're going to bring you guys around like so. We're going to go to my pictures. So we'll look at the truck that we that we have to tow the Sabaside to all these different trails. Well, I guess that's why we bought this truck, because of the Sabaside. It has the towing capacity for the Sabaside, so this is definitely the best truck to get. Well, if you want a smaller, more compact pickup truck to tow a Sabaside, then yeah, this is your best bet. So there's the Chevy Colorado Trail Boss. As you see, it's got a 4-inch lift, 35-inch tires, and I think 15-inch rims. I'm not sure. But that is that. So here's the back of it. So down here, we will have to test fit our trailer hitch to make sure it actually fits. We might have to get a much lower, more angled trailer hitch. I think we have an angled trailer hitch. We'll have to test it out, because we do have a 4-inch lift on this truck. We'll have to test fit the trailer to make sure it'll actually tow the Sabaside, I guess, the best way it can. So that is the back of the truck. Here's the front of it. So as you can see, this is the truck we use for all of our trail running. So this has been to Carolina Adventure World and Riverneck so far. We haven't tested out with, so it's a good thing we have it lifted. It helps with a lot of, like, I don't even know why my dad got a lift. And I think this is the only thing we're gonna need. And of course, I'm glad we did, because we need these tires. The Goodyears were so loud, and they were just horrible. I guess when the belts broke inside the tires, no matter what. And we will take it back to, we actually got this done at Farm Boy Customs, so getting inside the truck is definitely very difficult. So that is that. That's the truck in a nutshell that we use to tow the Sabaside. That's another thing we can talk about, is finding a vehicle to tow your Sabaside. But I know if you're a Chevy guy, there's the Silverado and the Colorado for towing the Sabaside. But we'll talk more about that, and so, in the next episode, we'll talk about vehicles, the best vehicles to tow your machine, your Sabaside or ATV, UTV, or whatever, and finding the trailer, like building a setup for your machine, like a trailer and a vehicle. Like, we'll talk about the towing capacity. We'll talk about how reliable these vehicles really are. So we're going to go more into cars, and not really focus more on the Sabasides and the all the mainly Sabaside content. We're gonna take a break in the next episode, which will be next Saturday. Yep, it'll be next Saturday, April the 11th. So on April the 11th in the morning, we will do an episode all about vehicles, finding the best vehicle, whether it's like a SUV or truck, an SUV or truck that can tow your Sabaside, and then finding the best trailer for your Sabaside. It could be a big trailer, it could be a much smaller trailer, it could be a mini trailer, especially if you're towing kid Sabasides like the Razor 200 EFI or the Ranger 150 EFI. And I guess we'll talk about trailers and vehicles for each machine because I know these side by sides are huge right now. They're huge. They're massive. I mean, they're big vehicles. It's kind of like a car, pretty much. Especially if you get a 4-seater, 5-seater. You're basically going to car territory. And we'll even talk about towing a 2-seater, 4-seater, 5-seater, side by side, and strapping it down. Because this will be like a follow up to the different trails that we were talking about. Like, how do we get there? What is the best reliable vehicle to go to all these different trails? And we might even talk about why you need to stay within the your coast, whether it's the East Coast, West Coast. I guess I can go to ChatGPT. What are the different coasts in the United States? Because I know there's East Coast, West Coast. So I definitely want to stay on the East Coast between Tennessee, Georgia. Yeah, coast in the United States. Okay, so there's. So. So. I guess it depends on where you live. And going these different trails could be quite a hassle, especially someone like me who lives in South Carolina, which is on this side of the this side, maybe this side. It's my camera's reversed, so on this side or on this side of the country, and driving all the way to South Dakota is 3 days there, 3 days back, and that's quite a hassle to tow my side by side 27 hours. It's a good thing that none of us live in South Dakota anymore. My sister used to live in South Dakota. My future brother in law lived in South Dakota his whole life. My brother lived in South Dakota, so did my sister in law when they got married, so they all lived in South Dakota. And I don't think we'll be able to take the trip down there anymore. I won't be able to explore the trail systems that South Dakota has to offer, especially on the northern end where Spearfish is, Deadwood, because we got to drive all the way through the whole state of South Dakota to get to those trails. So we want to stay within Georgia, Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia. I'm not sure where other trail systems my dad wants to take me on, but we're mainly be staying on the East Coast because it's within safe driving distance. But we don't know exactly yet when that's going to happen, but it will happen later on down the road. So I think with that said, we guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a brand new video, another a new trail riding video, another episode of the Off Road Campground podcast. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.